So our next Christmas design is a wonderful limited hand tied. So here we've got the beautiful Mango Callas, we've got the Red Lion Amaryllis, and then we've got some wonderful Molucella again with the wonderful pine to really give that Christmas feel, and some ilex berries. And we've taken some aspidistra leaves here which we've gently rolled and then sprayed with the 24 karat gold leaf Oasis spray paint. So really looks stunning, and it is a design that, you know, can be placed directly in a vase. So with the impact of the wrap that we're going to use now, it's really going to maximize this effect. We're going to use the green metallic tint, and then we're going to use the white clear star on the cellophane, and we're going to put the two together. And first of all, let me just move my hand tied out of the way. And we're going to place the two cellophanes together on top of each other. Like so. We're going to just trim the edge so they are nice and perfect and together. So the first step for making the limited tide is we're going to just go from this point and we're going to fold the cellophane straight over, like so. Gently move the cellophane down your counter and just roll your cellophane again, keeping them nice and smooth. And where we've actually made this fold on the cellophane, we're just going to just gently fold over, and what this is actually creating is like two squares on the long piece of cellophane. And then we're going to trim from this point straight across. So now we can open the cellophane, and we're now going to work from this side and take the cellophane over to the opposite side. So this is creating like a kite effect. First of all, we need to just take a small amount of sellotape just to hold in the middle. This just makes it a little bit easier to hold, and then we can run the sellotape right the way down that center seam. So the next step is that we need to now tidy up each seam. So first of all, we're going to fold the cellophane and roll, starting off at one point and staple. And work all the way down to the top. So this really creates a real nice neat finish to the actual paper that we are going to use with the hand tied. Just making sure that all the seams are taken inside. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of the cellophane just showing here, and we just want to trim that away, so that's creating a nice point to one side. And now we turn the cellophane around, and with something like this, these you can pre-prepare before the busy occasions. Again, roll and just repeat that same process. Fold in, make sure all your seams are neat and tidy, because this is one of the most important things when you are actually using wraps, is to make sure that your mechanics are as good as your flowers. If you wanted, you could actually use double-sided or two-sided sticky tape to actually fold the seam over. And again, I'm just going to trim that edge away. So now we've got that neat point, and now we have the finished piece ready to wrap your hand tied. So now we need to fold the actual design ready to place your limited tide inside. So we've got this point, and it needs to run directly down this length of cellophane. So I'm actually folding it straight across like so. We're going to turn the cellophane over, and here you have one edge, and we're just going to gently fold this over, and what we're creating is quite like an ice cream cone effect. So this has been folded here, and now we can then take this piece over, and then we can fold around, and there you have your wrap ready for your hand tied. So you can see that it folds into an ice cream effect. So we can just gently place that onto the bottom, and then you have to look at where the hand tied handle becomes. So as you can see, this is quite long, so we just need to gently trim a little bit of the stems away, not too much, just enough to make sure that these will sit nicely within the cellophane. So we can open the cellophane and gently tease your limited into the inside of the cone. So I'm just gently relaxing the cellophane, which allows me to just insert the limited tide. And the reason why we've got it so far in is that once we start to go from this point here, this is the tying point where you've actually created your hand tide from. So this gently relaxes away, and now we've got the flap here, which means we can then squeeze again around that tying point. Like so. And this gives a real nice, neat finish to the base of the limited tide. So now I'm going to use that same technique where I've made 2 loops around the base, and we're just going to fasten in between each one, taking the twine through that top loop and just holding and pull. I mean, this sort of feel in the hand tide is quite stunning, because it really does make you feel that your limited hand tide is very, very expensive and unique. Where we've got this little point, we're just going to fold that back, and this can then be stapled just underneath, and what this creates is more depth to your actual piece. To finish off this design, we're now going to use this wonderful red ribbon, this wired red ribbon, and we're just going to finish off with a beautiful simple bow, and all we need on this one is just 4 loops. you fasten in the middle. And again, always making sure that your tying point is at the top, so that when you've actually finished off your bow, all your mechanics are hidden underneath. We can then trim and bring the excess pieces in line. And then to finish off, making sure that you put any identification or cards or care instructions onto your piece. This is truly a stunning piece that will actually really excite people because it's such an unusual way of wrapping a limited hand tied. It's always very difficult to do. So I hope that you can understand the technique and really have fun, because this can be created for many different styles. This is a nice large limited hand tied, but it can be created for 1 rose or 2 roses or 3 roses on smaller versions.